Hello, everyone. We are live right now. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're connecting from. You're welcome to today's episode. We have a special guest with us, and her name is Aundrea Veney. But before we bring her on board, we just want to go straight into the show of today. Welcome, 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 welcome. We'd like to know where you're connecting from. Please leave your name. And if this is your first time and you think this has been a blessing to you, please kindly share with others. It is said that a leader is one who knows it and shares it with others. So, with Money Matters today, what do we do in Money Matters? Money Matters is a show where we speak about and we teach financial literacy, how we can help people make more money. Make more money by saving, building in capital, raising your capital and investing it in other investment vehicles, life insurance, health insurance, businesses you can do in the 21st century, and so much more. Sales and marketing. Yes, you have a product you want to sell, but you must learn how to get the product in the front of the people who needs the product or the services. It is said that there is no rich man who has no service or product he or she is selling. So you want to find out what is that service, what is that business, what is that thing you want to sell to make money? Because you can't just sit down and wait for money to drop on your laps. So you have to use what you have to get what you need. And that's what we do with Money Matters. But before I go into the show proper, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sandra Oko. I'm a Maxwell Leadership Certified Team Member, coach, speaker, and trainer. I'm a member of the Toastmaster, a best-selling author, and also an IT salesperson of over 20 years in the IT industry. And I just received another award, the Presidential Lifetime Award from Connecticut. I'm so excited to have you on this show. But before I bring in our guest, I'd like to shoot one of our commercials. Hi, we're back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so before we go in, let me just quickly read uh, our guest resume. Aundrea Veney advocates for the rights of domestic violence, human trafficking victims, trauma survivor, and the provider who served them. She's a citizen of the globe and an advocate for humanity. Veney is also the founding director and chief vision officer of two organizations, where the mission focus is empowerment, advocacy, education, and liberation. ADVAS Oasis, a partner development corporation, and SAVDA World Incorporated, a non-for-profit. Aundrea Veney is the proud mother of two daughters, Yaya of three grand angels, and a loving life partner to one. Miss Veney is an award-winning speaker, published author, executive training instructor, self-empowerment and transitional life coach, and mindfulness meditation facilitator. She attended University of Maryland in College Park for business administration and has certificates in embodied social justice, facilitation, chakra clearing, reflexology, trauma and recovery, sound therapy, sound healing. Aundrea is also a licensed feminine instructor where she guides clients through releasing emotions using movement supported by African drums. She is committed to unconditional self-acceptance and empowerment by way of personal healing. This matters greatly as she believes when we heal our inner world, the external world, we experience healing. So I'm so glad to have her on this show. And the next person you get to see is Aundrea Veney herself. So great to have you, ma'am.
Great to be here. Hello. So glad you're
here. I'm excited to have you on this show. And I know that it's been so long. We've been looking forward to this. And thank God today we're here together to discuss. We want to learn and glean from you on the strengths and how you went through life and how you succeeded in your business. Just us to learn the ropes from you. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, because I tell a lot of people, I say sometimes we'll learn from our mentors. We do not need to fall into the pitfalls they fell into in time past when we glean and stay around mentors. who can help us and guide us in our businesses. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. And that's what we're doing tonight with you. So the floor is all yours, ma'am.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I first want to celebrate you and congratulate you when you were telling your intro. I was like, oh, she didn't mention that. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It
That's
was
exciting.
started because someone nominated me.
Oh,
And I was like, what's the award for? I was like, my husband was like, is it necessary you take it or something? So I had to read what it's all about. That if you're doing something in the area of humanity, you're supporting humanity, you're not being paid. You're doing it as a passion, but touching lives. Somebody can nominate you and say, oh, you're doing a great job. I think you need this award. And
oh,
I just got it on Sunday, just a few days ago.
so that no wonder you like lit right up when you said it. I was like, I
I'm
have to
so
tell
sorry.
you.
I should have told you.
Congratulations. That's huge. I mean, obviously, it speaks to the work that you do, not only on this YouTube, but also in the world, period. So, congratulations. That's
Thank you
amazing.
so much.
Congratulations. So again, thank you for having me. I kind of chuckled when we were put in contact, because when it comes to success and business, I was like, oh Lord, I don't know if I'm one of the persons that you would want to talk to, because I've had many businesses fail. Well, I've dissolved plenty of businesses, and from my definition back then, I would say they failed, right? So I've had many businesses that I've started and that had concluded. A lot of things in my personal life that I would consider failures, or at one point I would have considered them failures. Now I look back and I see things a lot different and more clear. And all of them have built me to be the person that I am today. And so this person stands and embraces failure, actually encourages it, and also encourages people to look outside of the box and have a different perspective of what they perceive success to be, right? Some people would say that it's just money. Some people would say that it's not money at all. And I would say that it's both. Because after chasing the dollar, at one part of my life, I was a government contractor and started in admin and worked all the way up to supporting the Secretary of Defense for the United States, and working and making six figures, and then losing six figures and then getting it back. And I remember chasing the dollar and the status, and to the point that it literally made me sick. And then after I lost it and realized what was important, then I realized, okay, well, these are things that I just need. I just need to make my bills. I need to be able to have time and freedom to spend with my kids and my spouse. Speaking of which, having a marriage and then being divorced, like I consider a lot of successes and failures in my life. And I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily if I'm the poster child for it, but I will stand and say that I am one who just encourages people, like I said, to embrace their whole story. And for me, money was important at one point, and then I realized that I had to find the harmony in life, not necessarily the balance, but the harmony, because you could have the money and not the time and the freedom to actually enjoy it, or you could not have any money and you feel limited. So there has to be a sweet spot in the middle. And I believe that my life now is a reflection of that harmony, and it continues to change and shift. And that's important to know also on everyone's journey. It's not one, there's not a defined blueprint for it.
Sure.
There's a customized, each individual customized blueprint for each person, because that can be different. What made you successful may not make me successful, because
Sure.
we have to consider the whole of an individual, their past experiences, where they were brought up, where they're brought up, all the things, what they believe about themselves, how they perceive the world and interactions, and what they believe success is. So I believe all those things they play vital roles in a personal journey towards success. So yeah, I think that that's huge. And
But I like to let you know that, in failing and rising is the key to success. We have people who have failed but remain in their mud. They remained and they never stood up. So
right.
be beyond that, you are a success the moment you're able to rise up and be able to start something else. I've done several business. I've done several. I've done laundry. My laundry was successful. I sold it eventually to someone else who could manage it because I wasn't on ground. I had a bakery, but I had a fire explosion. I had to stop it for a reason because one of my staff was really burnt. So that's got me scared. And life to me was very important. This is somebody else's child. Just like the way I would like to shield my children, so would I want to do that for others because for that moment, they're in my custody. Whatever goes wrong with them, I'm to be responsible. So that was one of the things that made me left. Then I had a grocery store. But I found that sometimes if you don't try all the things, you'll never know your strengths. So in trying those things helps you to build the real person you're called out to be. You know your strengths, you know your failures. And in your failures, you're able to go back to your drawing board to say, what is it I didn't do right? What is it I'm called for? Because as our fingerprints are different, so our journey are different. There's no two people, even twins, identical twins, none has the same parts. So you all have. So if you've had failures and being able to rise up to do something and that you're being successful, you're a great warrior.
Mm. I love that you said that each journey is its individual as a fingerprint, right? And that is so true. And I was also getting excited inside hearing how very vast and diverse your background is, because I was like, oh, I'm not alone.
True.
When I first started out, like I started out, I went to a vocational high school and I was doing cosmetology. I went into cosmetology because no one would do my hair. My hair was really long and it was curly, and my sister would get her hair done every week, and her hairstylist would always be like, no, they're not doing my hair. So she was like, Aundrea, why don't you go to cosmetology? And I was like, okay. So I did it so that I could learn to do my hair. Not that I wanted to do anybody else's hair, but in that journey, I was like, oh my God, I want to have my own spa and salon. So my first business was doing hair. And I thought that it was like successful, and it was back, to the extent that it could be. And I did hair for many years, for over 10 years. And then I was like, I wanted to do a whole spa. And so I went to massage therapy school. And so I literally was short of my credits because of personal things that I allowed to get in. I was 20 hours away from completing my certification for my massage therapy. And I never went back to get it, but I was able to practice massage, like do massage as a practitioner is what they considered it back then. And so I was like, I'm gonna have my own spa. And I remember my first business was like the magic touch was my business.
Awesome.
And it was, I enjoyed it and I had fun. And as things progressed and life happened, I was a young mom, and someone told me, you're not going to be successful just doing hair and trying to go around doing massage. That's an irresponsible thing to do as a mother, because your kids need more. And so I listened to that. I allowed that seed to drop in me. And so I felt like I needed to do better. I needed to do better because what I had wasn't enough, even though it made me happy and I enjoyed it. And it was enough just to provide, just to get enough. I wasn't rich or anything, especially I was young then. But I allowed that seed to drop in. And so I felt like I needed to let go of all of that, which was, entrepreneur, working for yourself and creating your own hours and all of that. And then go into the 9-to-5 working behind a desk. I absolutely hated it, but I love the consistency of pay and my benefits for my children, right? And so I was like, well, I guess I can do this. And that allowed a different opportunity for me in my life and my children. And so as I saw things evolved, then I was like, okay, I'll master this administrative thing. And then I'd be an office manager. And then fast forward, I ended up, my first business in the outside of cosmetology world was, I did administrative work. It started out contracting. I wanted to clean offices because I saw how the cleaners would come in and how much those contracts were. And I was like, I could do that. It's easy. And so I went in and someone told me, no, you're not going to make that much money out of it. So I switched. And then I was like, well, okay, well, we do the administrative business. So I had my own administrative company and went after government contracts. And that was beautiful. I had a partner, and it was great until it wasn't, because it's a completely dog eat dog world. And I was like, it's not fun. If we can't do this for the reason that we got into it, which was our love for supporting people and supporting offices, then I don't want to do it. Now, that was a very immature version of myself then, but it was like letting it go. And so I say this, and I can keep talking about the different iterations, intervals of my life that I went through with businesses and things. But I think it's important, almost like what you said, is to point out that you have to try it. You have to try all the things, because in those moments, they reflect who you are at that present moment.
Sure.
And you learn so much in it. You learn, what it takes to set up a business. You learn whether or not you even like it, right? You say you think you like a thing until you do it, and you're like, you know what, this isn't for me. So I think it's important to embrace all of the pieces of you. So like, just like how you have multiple businesses in different areas, like how I went from cosmetology to massage, and then to the admin world, and then now currently, then going into coaching, and then the personal development, and then now nonprofit. It's a lot of different areas, but I think when things come full circle, you ultimately come back to what was in your heart, like what you really wanted to do and what was aligned for you. Because I look back, and while I never thought any of those things connected, I finally realized that the common denominator were people. Like I'm a people person, even though, some would argue I don't like people, but
I love people. I love being around them.
I love helping people. I love helping people, and I love interacting, and I love learning from people. That is what I've found out. And everything that I've ever done, the common denominator was people. So I was
That's
like,
how people be an impact.
mm-hmm. And so I would have never known that. I would have never known that, especially being the baby PK, growing up with, other siblings in the house. And it was like 5 of us growing up in the house. And I could not stand the interaction with people because of I blame it on my siblings, because I never got the full attention from my parents. I was always the last to get anything. And when it came to talking, people discredited anything I said or talked over me. And so it was a lot that I had to overcome from like personal insecurities. And so I always thought like people suck, man. I was like, people suck.
I guess you were the last baby in the house.
Yes, I was. I was a baby.
That's what happened most times.
Yes, exactly. And I learned that too, like with my children birth order, how different things start to get planted. But I never thought I would have been involved with anything that really surrounded helping other people. And so through all of my failures, even, like I said, I was married and then divorced, and those things that built my character and my resilience allows me to be able to stay here. And I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm successful from the way that I would have defined success years ago, right? But what I consider myself successful in is being able to have that resilience and that tenacity to tap into lessons learned from the past and not stay down, right? Like I've been down to the lowest, but I also understood that like reflecting on my past experiences, like I overcame something before. So what did I do then? What did I do before to make sure that I could overcome again? And I think the more you overcome, the more you get back up, the stronger you are as an individual and the more successful you would be. Because even when it comes to businesses, like you hear some of the most, successful, quote unquote, people, top 1%ers, they tell you, how many businesses they failed. But the more that you continue to have a business, you know how to do it again. You know how to do it again. Yeah. And you get quicker at it. You get sharper. You learn more. And so you get a bigger profit and a return. Your ROI is greater the more you do it. And so it's just a muscle. I think failure is a muscle. And so
you learn more in failures.
Yes, you absolutely do. And so I believe I'm a poster child for failures, but also because of that, the flip side of that coin is success. A successful being came out of it. Yeah.
And that's true, because you also have to see it. What does failure do to you? Does it make you better? Do you see it as a stepping stone to get into where you need to be? Because you find that when you have failures, it helps you to go back and say, okay, what did I do wrong? And how do I get around it? What do I need to do better in order for me to be able to move to the next stage? And if you don't get it right, you don't move. But the moment you get it right, you move. And sometimes when we go through failures and difficult moments, just not for us, but for us to be able to coach and teach all this coming behind us. So God allows us to go through those things. We'll learn, we become stronger, and we become better. And we're there to help others to become better versions. And that's why, you can bring people in a room, coach them, tell them your stories. When I first started too, I started with just 4 or 5 perfumes bottles, and that was the only perfume I had. And I had to show friends, and some of them were like, "Oh, I don't want any of this collection. Can you get me a new perfume?" Once I get the perfume, I look for the money, quickly go get the perfume. The profit I make from it, I quickly use it to buy a new set of perfume, or I keep the capital just in case somebody else comes and says, "Okay, I want another set of perfume that is not among the 5 bottles I have." So I was doing that, and before you know it, I was able to turn that money to be able to go to Dubai. So I went to Dubai after a long time, after turning it over. And that's why sometimes it's not about the capital that you used to start a business that really matters. It's how you're able to turn the little you are and increase it and multiply it. The compounding effect that matters. Not that you make profit, you use all your fingers to eat the money, but keeping the money aside to build in more. So when I made profits, I kept some of the money. So when people come and say, "Oh, I don't want any of this collection. Can you get me another one?" I quickly use some of the profit I made, quickly go get. But because I was able to build trust and the person knew me, I was able to get perfumes on credit. So as soon as the people pay me, I'll run back to pay the business owner. So over time, I was able to generate more money. I had so many collections. I had an e-commerce platform where I was selling perfumes. So I think if you check some of the e-commerce platform in my country, you still see my name, Deep Collection, DIP. So I had that perfume, and then it was easy for me. I was working as a working mother. I was working 8 to 5. But then I had in my country, then you're allowed to have people you call live-in maids, people you want to sponsor, people that just come to stay with you to help you with your kids.
Okay.
You understand? You send them to school, you try to empower them. Some we put them to learn a trade. Some you put them to school. So they go to school and come back and help you sit at home, take care of the kids. So those period when I'm out, and someone places an order for perfume, I would probably do the packaging and everything, leave it at home. A dispatch rider comes and pick it up. And by so doing, I was able to, gather funds together, and I was able to travel, and I was able to go into all the wares. I bought ladies wear. We ladies would like to change. We like good shoes, good clothes, and for guys, I was getting inner wears for them because the guys would like to have good inner shirt, good boxes, and everything. And it was really time for me to make money because I was working, but I had it in my trunk. So during break time or after work, my friends would go with me to the car to see what they want to buy. And sometimes I would have to sell on credits. So once they are paid, I get my money back. So by so doing, I was able to raise more capital to starting having a store, an outfit, and starting something. So you must start somewhere in order for you to make. And you don't have to look at capital. You don't have to look for people who will give you large capital. A lot of times when we get large capitals, when we are not able to manage a little one, how can you manage when you have much more? And you don't want to go into a large debt. It's better to go into small debts and gradually you pay your way and pave your way out. But if you go to the bank and get so much huge funds and you're not able to manage and you lost everything, the bank will come after you. So whatever you use as a collateral, you get to lose it. If you use your house, if you use a landed property, you lose it. So I tell people start small and grow big. Take those little baby steps that you think, oh, it's so small. But start small within your sitting room, within the comfort of your home. And as the business grows, then you can think of having an outfit there, but not taking loan to run in a business.
Yeah. No. I love that you brought up the credit piece of it, and credit being sometimes you can't get the credit as in money capital, right? But another type of credit is like bartering, right? Like what your skills are and how someone else can support you in that way. Like I remember when I was in a domestic violence relationship for almost 10 years, and through that I had like every penny that I had to put towards my kids and or just living. Like when people talk about, oh, just use your savings, I'm like, it's easy for people to say that. Then I was like, it's easy for you to say that if you can save. But I was not in any position to save anything. And I was like, how can I get money just to put gas in my car, just to go to my family's or to get away, or, I didn't have any of that. But, someone told me you can barter, and I was like, well, what about this bartering thing? And I didn't know then, even though we talked about it in school and all that, but real life situation was being able to have that explained to me. Like, you have a skill that you can do if it's doing someone's hair. And in exchange, if someone can't give you money or something, they can provide a service or an opportunity for you or something like that, where you're building relationships and credit in a way that comes back in a different way. So maybe not in the bank account, right? But credit in relationships, being able to
human capital.
Exactly. Human capital. That's the I think it's one of the biggest things that we don't really speak on when we're talking about business strategies and startups, right? Because some people literally do not have a savings. They don't have the credit report. I ended up having to file bankruptcy one time and figured, like, how in the world am I going to come back from this? Like, I can't get credit cards for, several years. I can't get a loan. And yet I got kids I still need to support. And so being able to really reflect and go inward and like, what do I have? What do I have aside from anything materialistic that I can offer to the world or to someone else that's valuable? And I think when you can look inward to be able to say what is valuable that I can offer, even if it's cleaning a house, if it's walking a dog, if it's sitting for some house sitting, or, doing what are those things? Newspaper routes, or doing someone's else marketing on the computer, checking someone's emails, being a personal assistant, babysitting, like all of those things, you could allow yourself to use your human capital and have someone else pour into you in different ways. And I think that that's important. I know I had to do that for many years. And in that, I built a lot of relationships, and that relationship building allowed me to be able to translate that into, when I actually did have money, to be able to go back to those same people and ask, okay, so now one, I can give you a little bit of something now because I have money, but now how else can we work together to actually make the money that we spend in the bank, and how can we grow a business? How can we do this together? And I think I learned the most from that piece of it, like really knowing that you go stronger together, you go farther together, right? Like you're stronger together, and you go faster with others instead of just by yourself. And so being able to leverage that, like I had to leverage doing hair, or literally being someone. I remember I was organizing closets and homes and things like that for people to either, give me an interview, or to help me go into a networking, or to get a workshop, to learn skills or things like that. And at first, I think at one point my ego would have jumped in and been like, no, I can't do that. That's embarrassing. I can't do that, but sometimes you have to swallow that humble pie, as my mom would say, and eat it, and then find out that you're better off on the other side, right? You're stronger, you're more nourished, and you have another relationship that you can count on to be able to support you. And so, we highlight human capital support as well as the dollars in the bank capital.
Thank you. Let's just have a comment here.
Yes.
Are you thinking of how to publish your book on Amazon, or how to get your published book to become an Amazon bestseller book? Dip Insight Books is the perfect in-between solution in transforming your ideas into a book. We can help you with all the complicated parts of publishing, such as process TO transformation. What we do: full manuscript evaluation, receive quality assurance edit, full copy edit and final proofread to remove spelling and grammar mistakes, oversee your cover design, create your interior layout, publish and distribute your book, lock down your marketing strategy. Ghostwriting, where there is no manuscript. Our goal is to help you publish your book promptly. Contact us today at 404-740-9091. Email us at info@dipinsightworld.com. To start the submission process, check us out at www.books.dipinsightworld.com and submit your details. You can visit our Facebook page at Dip Insight World.
Yeah, welcome. So great to have you back. And thank you, viewers, and thank you for being on this show. Like you rightly said, human capital cannot be overemphasized. That's the first thing everybody wants to know about you. What can you give? What skills do you have? And it is very obvious that everyone that God created something in them. And that's why you have to look inward. Take some time to look inward, And that's why, like in the Bible, where God told Moses, what is it that is in your hands? There's something God has given you. There's a skill. There's something you know how to do better. And like cleaning is something you can do for anyone without, providing or buying and selling. You're using your hands, you're providing services. And for services, you can make quick money. If you're cleaning 10 houses and you're making $200, that is $2,000. You're able to do other things with it. So beyond that, that's one of the reasons why I went into laundry. I was doing laundry. I was also cleaning people's houses. The cleaning of houses doesn't come all the time, but the washing of clothes, people want to launder the clothes. People want to iron their clothes. So I was saying that. And that was a lot of success for me. That was the last business I did that, I had it for like 4 going to 5 years. But because I was moving out of the country and I knew sometimes even businesses for people who are not vision driven will kill the business. So I just found out that after 6 months, the business wasn't doing well. So you're not a visionaire. When you're not a visionaire, you're not driven. You tend to just like, oh, let me get paid and let me go. But if you're vision driven, you can run somebody else's business, like your business, such that the person can even sell or will the business to you. So the business wasn't really managed well. So I had no choice but to sell it off so that I can have at least, that's why I would often tell people, count your costs. Sometimes if you have to close it very early so you don't lose everything. So I had to count my costs, pick up the things I can sell off, and I sold, and I made good money. Because sometimes, we get into pity party. At the end of the day, we lost everything that we have. Because at the end of the day, you can't sell the business. Every of the gadgets, or the instruments, or the machines have all gone bad. Then you have to look for money to trash those things. So while they're still very good in working condition, it's a good time to do away with such business. So make your money so that you don't lose totally. Right. So sometimes absolute loss, but you don't want to get to that level of, managing the business and you have what you call an absolute loss. Right. Meaning you can't get anything back, no financial result, you can't get any money back. Right. So a lot of times when we do business, it doesn't mean that you're a failure, but how many times you're able to rise up? He said, a man can fall 7 times. He's rising up, helps him to build stronger muscles. And you're able to tell your stories. You're able to help others who are not finding it easy to get it. You're able to give them the strategies and what you did that worked for you. So beyond just, starting a business and not being a success, doing it and being able to rise up to do another business, that's success for me. That's success, being able to say, okay, let me start something else. Some people are not able to venture. Yeah. They're not able to leave their comfort zone. They're scared to take risk. Yes. But you being able to take risk and still able to get yourself up. And that's why I said you have to know what it's called. You have to collaborate with others. It is said if you want to go fast in life, you go alone. But you want to go far, you leverage on the relationship of others. There might be some things that Aundrea knows better than me. And there might be things I know better than her. So when we come together, we can leverage our strengths and then we can do better. So a lot of times when you start a business, you're not doing well, look for people who have strength in those areas. They can be a blessing to you. They can mentor you. And that's why before you go into business, you need to have a mentor. Someone who is a success in that business, someone who you look up to say, oh, what is he doing? How is he doing it? It's been a success. And I'm about to start such business. Such a person will be able to guide you, tell you all the do's and the don'ts. So you not decide whether you will still want to venture or you want to stay back. So oftentimes it's because everybody wants to show off. We want to be myself and me. I want to be the owner of the business. Whereas you can leverage on all the people's skills, all the people's strengths. I may have great human capital. You might have a lot of network. So I having a good network, human capital, I can raise money from friends who trust me. Then I know that you have a lot of friends who would buy our products. Then we can leverage You have the customers, but I have the human capital to get money and funding for our business. So we can come together, finding our strengths and collaborating. And you can see that thereafter your business will grow. You'll become stronger.
Right. I have a question, Sandra. For when you had to sell your business, how did that feel for you? Was it an easy thing? Like within the 6 months, the one that you sold that was 6 months.
It was
Um,
it was before COVID.
okay.
I knew if I don't sell, I'm going to pay money for rent. I'm
Mhm.
going to pay the staff for not working.
Right.
So before COVID hit so hard in April, I sold because I
Mm,
knew that, people were asked to stay at home. And in my country, when you tell people to stay at home, whether they work or not work, you have to pay them.
mm,
So, and I would pay for my light bills. I
mm,
would also pay for the renter of the shop. So whether I make money or not, I would have to. So I knew that the business was already going down. So the best I could do then was get an auditor, audit the business, tell me what the business wants. So that when people come to price me and say they want to buy the business for a certain amount that was too poor, I tell them no, it's too low. You have to have something good. So eventually I got someone who bought the business. I was very happy because I could have gone home with nothing because it was COVID. I was going to pay staff. How do I raise funds to send back to my country to pay people?
mm.
So I was glad God, sent an help. Somebody bought the business for me.
Wow. Wow.
And we're
Perfect.
still friends today. I also render some services of advice to him because he's in the country. He can manage a business better than I do.
Mm,
You know, a lot
right.
of times when you're not in present managing a business, if you don't have the right hands, the business will go. You will
Yeah.
lose everything.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I was thinking of how challenging that can be. First of all, you're absolutely right about needing, that's a team, right? Having a great team and people that you can trust to manage things on your behalf. That's critical. And I hope people understand that too, not underestimating that your right hand or your left hand who's helping you needs to be trustworthy. They need to be trustworthy because they are your eyes, ears, and feet on the ground when you're not able to be there, right? So that's huge. So I'm glad that you had that. But I was just curious because oftentimes, as we both have already said, like the resilience piece, like you're gonna fail over and over again. You're gonna fail, but getting back up and doing something about it is key. But in that, oftentimes people don't also discuss like the emotionality that comes with having to let go, right? Like letting something go, or even coming to the terms of, it's not success the way that I thought that it was. So having to be able to be with that, sit with that, and almost like reinvent yourself to get past it. Some people can do it easy because they've done it a lot of times, or some would argue that maybe they weren't really attached to it. But I think it's important to know which one is, where something is, because when you have businesses, people call them like, this is my baby, right? This is my baby. And I started it. And so it makes it harder to cut the tie when is necessary. So instead of that baby being something that nourishes and grows up, it ends up pulling you down and making you lose everything, eats you out of house and home, right? So I was curious just to know, how that transition was for you, because I know for me
It
with
wasn't easy because before then I had a grocery store.
mm,
I was running out of capital.
mm,
I couldn't go back with the money I make to go get new products
mm,
because I was running on gas to run my lights. There was no lights. So I was using the capital I was making to care for to lighten the place.
right.
So and one particular day I had to tell my husband that we're closing the shop. He said, "Why?" I said, "We're closing it." I said, "It's becoming embarrassing. Customers come, we don't have the products they want. We promise them that they can come back next week, we'll have it. They come back next week, we don't have the product. So what are we trying to say? It's like these people are not serious, they don't know why they're in business. So and he said, we're closing the business. God has used it to care for us when we most needed it. The business has solved this problem. And so it's time for the business to go off. And now I can tell you businesses I cannot do if you give me $1 million.
Oh,
Because
wow.
I've tried them out, I can tell you that I can't do any business like Walmart's. Except I have the right resource. If I don't have the right resource, I can, because you will never be able to go for vacation. How do you do what you call auditing? How do you count the items you have in the shop? So there are businesses I wouldn't do. There are businesses I want to be home with my family over the weekends. I
Right.
want to spend time with them. I want to go on vacation. Businesses that you cannot close shop and go home
Right.
and know that you're resting.
Right.
People will still call you. But if it's service oriented, once I'm done with my service, I can close my shop. When I'm not there, I'm not there. You either wait for me at my time for me to come back to meet you or give you another time. So service oriented business, and that's why you have to learn, you have to do several business to know what you're called out to do. If you don't venture in any, you will not be able to do any. So you must try out things and see, okay, where's my strength? Where am I good? Am I good in speaking? Am I good in coaching? Am I good in marketing or customer service? Once you're able to know your area of strength, you can leverage that and use to help other businesses to come up. So, and that's why one of the reasons I do the money matters. I know a lot of people want to start business and they're scared to venture. Nothing venture, nothing gain. If you don't venture, there's nothing to profit.
Right.
You're going to fold your hands, and before you know, time is a large currency that you can never compare with money. So before you know it, 2023 is almost wrapping up. What's the plan for next year, 2024? And what's your plan for the remaining months in the year? What do you want to do? How do you bounce back? So these are things you want to go back to your drawing board. What are my goals? What are the things I've drawn out to do? What am I doing right now? What can I do in the last 4 months to make up for the 8 months that's gone? So these are things you want to look out and never to be afraid, but taking the bull by the horn, getting ready to say, okay, this is what I want to do. So if the business is not making money, it's high time you close the shop and move to something else. Rather than say, okay, what will people say? People would always say something.
Yes.
And the people who say things never start anywhere. And that's why they're called backbiters. They stay at the back, they never come forward. They just stay at the back to talk about you.
Yes.
So if they really do want to help you, they will come, they will approach you and say, okay, I know something about this business. I can help you. But if they're not there to assist you, then they're not worth being around you.
Yes. 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 I feel like I wish there was like a sound thing on here. Be like, yes, woo.
So, and that's why I said sometimes you have to go through those tough times to be able to help others.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
that's what God has called each and every one of us. We go through difficult moments, not because God is a wicked father, not because he doesn't like us, not because he wants us to suffer a bit,
Right.
but that's because that learning curves. There are things we need to learn to move to the next stage. And that's why I tell people, you don't get promoted to a next class until you pass the first class. If you don't pass a particular course, your lecturer will not pass you because he likes your face.
Yeah.
You have to pass that class. So if you don't pass the lessons you're going through, you don't learn all you need to learn. If you get to the next level, you're going to fall and go back again.
Yeah.
So it's good you learn your ropes, get stronger, build muscle, then move to the next stage.
Yes.
Then when you move to the next stage, you're happier. That I went through this, I can teach others.
Exactly. Yes. That
That's
is
it
so
for me.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it's about anyway, right? It's always the leveling up, and it's not always, yes, we level up with money and all of the things that we have to make life more liberating and enjoyable. But it's just like you said, we're students of life in the world, right? If we're not learning and growing, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's all about learning. You need to learn from your past mistakes, learn from others, and then always want to reach for the next thing, and not in a way that's like you're not content, right? But it's a way of not being stagnant, not being
Thriving.
Exactly. And that's what's important. That is what is important. I think for me, I had to learn that I went through this thing of guilt, like thinking that it's not okay to keep wanting more, keep wanting something else. But I think the energy around it had to be different, right? Like, it's nothing wrong with wanting to learn and grow and go to the next and have the next, but it's making sure that it's not just about greed, not just about for myself, but that I'm actually learning things in the process so that I can reach back and pay it forward. Right. And I think that that's what it's about. And I'm happy to have heard all of your stories and your experiences, and it's add flavor to mine. So we definitely gonna have to have other conversations too. So Sandra.
Yeah, the floor is all yours because I've been doing the most of the talking.
No.
Maybe you want to wrap it up. You want to give us some of the tidbits, things you did that just made you stood out. And right now, I know you're doing something great, and that's why Tracy referred you to me. So you might want to just use it as a wrapping up, and so we can call it a day.
Yes. I would just say for everyone to embrace who they authentically are. Do not settle and morph yourself into something that is not you. Learn yourself. Take the time to learn who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and be patient with yourself. And don't be afraid to take the leap. Take leaps constantly and grow. And in that, also understand there's a bigger picture at play. So you are just a small piece of a bigger puzzle and movie at play, and that you need other people. You need other people to be successful. You need other people to learn and grow. And in that, if it's being an entrepreneur, if it's being a mother, full-time parent at home, spouse, whatever it is, whatever you do it with all your heart and know that you will succeed.
True.
Yes.
Yeah, and just some comments at the side. Messina is here and Tracy Baker. Tracy Baker left a message. It says, hello, riveting conversation. Very inspiring. Miss Veney is is the massage certification of 20 years or more hours still possible? Or did COVID or other massage therapy profession? Can you see the comments?
I can't see it on my side. Nope.
Okay. So, well, Tracy is asking you a question. 20 more hours still possible? He's asking about this.
Okay, now I see it right here. Okay, Ms. Veney, is a massage certification of 20 more hours still possible, or did COVID after the massage therapy? You know what? I actually let it go. I let the massage therapy endeavor
to go.
away. Yeah, exactly.
That's to go.
And I probably buried it, but it is still something that I like to integrate with reflexology. Reflexology, you can do a little bit of that without the massage.
No, because sometimes you can often go back when you're a lot more, when you have more hands and you have less stress. Because a lot of times when you have growing up kids, it might be very challenging. But once they're out of school and they're very independent, sometimes some of this business you can be in people's business board to provide solutions to them because you've been there. You've learned the ropes. You know what you did in your own spa to be a success. So you can be in the board of other people's company to just, provide some kind of services, advisory role, just to help their business grow. So I want to say thank you to our viewers. I want to thank you, Tracy Baker, Messina, Felix. Thank you for your support. And everyone who will stumble on this video, thank you. And if this has been a blessing to you, please share. And like earlier said, I said a leader is one who knows it and shares it with others. And you want others to be blessed by these. So share. You never know what you can give to others by sharing things to them. Some might be going through difficult moments in their business. Some might be reaching out, oh, who can I talk to? You're free to talk to any one of us. You can reach out to Veney or myself, Sandra. If you want to get to Veney and you're not able to, you can get through me. I'll be able to connect you to her. We're here to help each other. We're here to leverage it on each other's strength. Should you need any help, then it said, share what you have with others so others can learn and be blessed too. So I want to thank our viewers and also want to thank our guests. Thank you for making our time to joining us. I'm so honored. I feel so excited that you were able to make it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a blessed evening and a great weekend. Bye, everyone. Till we meet on our next episode.